Have you ever looked at a piano and just thought, where do I even begin? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the piano, decoding everything from the very first notes you play to the biggest question of all. What's the best way to actually learn this thing?
So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll get a handle on the layout of the keyboard itself. Then, we'll start building actual harmonies with something called triads. From there, we'll hit that big fork in the road. Teach yourself or get a teacher. We'll dig into the common traps of going it alone and finally reveal why a teacher might just be your ultimate time-saving secret weapon.
All right, let's jump right in and get our bearings. The piano keyboard can look pretty intimidating, but trust me, there's a really simple logic to it all.
Okay, the most basic unit in all of music is the semitone. You can think of it as a single musical atom. It's just the distance from any key to the very next one. Doesn't matter if it's black or white. One key to the next, that's a semitone.
And here's the secret map to the entire keyboard. It's like a musical GPS. Just look for the patterns. See that group of 2 black keys? The white key right to the left of them is always a C. See the group of 3? The white key to the left is always F. Once you see this pattern, you'll never be lost on the piano again.
So what about those black keys? What are they called? Well, they actually borrow their names from their white key neighbors. It's all about direction. If you go up 1 semitone from a white key, that black key is a sharp. Go down 1 semitone, and it's a flat. Simple as that.
Okay, so we've got single notes down. Now for the fun part. Let's start actually building things. We're moving on to triads, which are, quite literally, the foundation of almost every chord you'll ever hear.
So what even is a triad? It's just a fancy word for a 3-note chord. But these 3 little notes, man, they are everything. They're how we create all the emotions in music. The happy sounds, the sad, melancholic ones, it all starts here.
Now this is where it gets really cool, because music isn't just an art, it's also kind of math. You can build all 4 of these essential chord types with a simple formula. Just count the semitones. A happy major chord, that's just 4 semitones, then 3 more. A sad minor chord, flip it, 3 semitones, then 4 more. You get this down and you've basically cracked the code for thousands of songs.
So, you've got the building blocks, you know how the keyboard works, you know how chords are made. Now you've arrived at a huge decision point that every single person who picks up an instrument has to face.
You can find your way around, you can build a few chords. So, what's the next step? What's the best way to turn this basic knowledge into a real, actual skill?
The choice really comes down to what your goal is. If you just want to have fun, play some pop songs for yourself and your friends, honestly, the self-taught route is amazing. But if you've got dreams of playing complex classical pieces, well, that's a whole different ballgame, and a teacher becomes pretty much essential.
Now, while teaching yourself is an awesome path, it's worth being honest about some of the hidden hurdles, the common traps that can really slow down your progress if you're not careful.
All right, coming in at number 5, developing poor technique.
And this isn't just about how you look when you play. Poor technique means you're creating all this tension in your hands and arms, which chokes your sound. It means your fingers can't move on their own, making it feel like you're trying to run 10 different apps in your brain at once. It's just chaos.
And listen, this is the really scary part. These bad habits, they don't just stay on the surface. You practice them for months, for years, and they get burned into your muscle memory. They become automatic, and trying to unlearn them later, it is so hard.
Some other big ones? Developing a shaky sense of rhythm that you accidentally practice into a habit. Becoming totally reliant on those falling note videos instead of learning to read music. And using really inefficient, clumsy fingerings that basically put a hard ceiling on how fast or gracefully you can ever play.
This quote right here just hits the nail on the head. Learning only from visual guides is like being able to speak a language but not knowing how to read or write it. Sure, you can imitate a few phrases, but you're completely locked out of the vast world of books and communication that everyone else is using.
And the number 1, the absolute biggest pitfall for self-taught pianists is having poor practicing methods.
Yep, it's the classic quality over quantity problem. So many people waste hours and hours just playing a piece from start to finish, mistakes and all. A much better way is to practice in tiny, bite-sized chunks. Nail one little section, repeat it perfectly, then move on. You'll make way more progress in way less time.
And all of this brings us to the ultimate reason why, especially if your goals are big, you might want to work with an expert.
So I get a teacher? It's not just about having a cheerleader. The real reason is speed, efficiency.
A good teacher saves you from literally years of what's called brute force practicing, which is just a nice way of saying you're banging your head against a wall, reinforcing your own mistakes over and over.
Think of a teacher as your personal technique coach. They're an expert set of eyes. They'll spot those tiny little errors that a YouTube video could never see. They'll give you the most efficient fingerings and practice strategies. They're the ones who give you the tools you need to even think about tackling the giants, the Beethovens and the Liszts of the world.
So, in the end, it all comes down to this question. What's your end game? Are you dreaming of just jamming out to some pop chords, or are you hoping to one day perform a breathtaking classical concerto? Be really honest with yourself, because that answer, that's the compass that's going to guide your entire musical journey.